Coach, let's talk first off today. So we get some guys beaten and banged up a little bit here and there, but it also gives you an opportunity to see some new faces, get some new guys in there. You got Beno in there, you got AJ Addison to name a few. Tyler Combs got some extra reps. How does that help you as a coach of just being able to see what's there and available for backup? Because you never know when a guy's going to go down.
The mentality of next man up. When someone gets hurt, they're not going to. I got to tell them we're not going to cancel practice. We're not going to cancel the scrimmage tomorrow. You're not going to cancel. They're not going to push back September 6th. I always try to tell them that whoever are the guys that are here, those are the guys that I feel as that they're the starters, as if we're playing tomorrow. So that's what I kind of my mentality, and it's a mentality that we have in that room. That whoever's available now, right now today, is who in my mind we're going to go play with against Purdue. That's the way I look at it. So you just go coach the heck out of them, and try to, Swede played a little bit of tackle today. Devers played a little bit of tackle. Just try to give you as much versatility and crossover as possible, because you'll take 10 guys on to the game, but even though you take 10 guys to the game, you always want to have someone goes down, who's the next best guy, so if Clinton is out with a migraine, then who's the next best guy? Right, it's Tom Collins. Well, if Tom Collins gets dinged up, who's the next best guy? So it gives you as a coach a chance to even though you don't want to do it, to practice the realities of the football season, which is injuries and coaching them up. And then you tell these guys, you better be paying attention to meetings, you better be paying attention to walkthroughs, you better be paying attention during drills, because that stuff, you might not get as many reps, but you better be prepared when someone taps you on the shoulder and says, okay, it's your turn. And they've shown to be able to do that. So it's good. It's good for the growth of our unit. It's good for the growth of our program, and so it is what it is. It's part of college football.
We talk about Swede going on the outside today, running with some of the linemen as well. And how much do you go back to him being able to make that transition so seamlessly from the time he spent out there a little bit last year before coming back into guard?
Oh, it was seamless because he's a year older. He's a year wiser with football. He hasn't been playing football for a long time, but he's got 25 starts to him. So it's easy for me to be able to kick him out there. And I didn't even have to help him with any of the calls and stuff, so there was carryover from that. So and he's very, very athletic, although we feel he's better at the guard spot. For us, in a pinch, you can win a game with him at tackle. You don't want to have him long term there, because there's certain things that opponents might be able to game plan, but you can win a game with him. He can get you out of the game and into the next week, so it's awesome to have a veteran like him to be able to do that.
Sandley goes to the outside this year,
yeah.
And what he's been able to do through camp has been second to none, but he has just absolutely been bullying defensive ends.
Yeah.
What does that say about the mentality that he comes in with last season of he played some, worked behind Clint, but this year he comes in and he looks to be a powerful lineman that's going to wreak some havoc on that O-line?
Yeah, you always want to tell the kids that there's always the opportunity for them to start and all that stuff, but kids aren't dumb. They get here and they know that there's guys stacked there in front of them, It was Van Horn and Scarrett Scott, and then it was Van Horn and Swede, and Van Horn and Addison, and then Van Horn and Mendelson. So, he worked his butt off, but, there was always guys there in front of him that he knew were going to be the starter. Those guys cleared out, and then in the spring, but I'll tell you what, from the spring to here, he's a 180-degree different player. We do all this stuff where we're installing plays now throughout the week, and so you go back to, all right, we're going to install this play tomorrow, let's go back and get some cut-ups from the spring. And so I'm watching, and we'll watch practice, and I see what he's doing now, and then I'll go back and watch spring, and I'm like, ooh, man, God, he's gotten so much better, And so that's neat to be able to see that transformation. He's really, really, really making himself into a dominant player.
How much do you give the credit to having Mendelson, the guy that played that position right beside of him in practice every day?
Oh, that's huge. That's huge. That played a huge role in me wanting to get Trevor here, because I felt, and don't take. I hope that no one takes it the wrong way, but I felt it would be easier to replace Jaspers than it would Mendelson, just because I knew that we were going to slide over a Selby to replace Jaspers. You're talking about a kid who's played, multiple starts here, So to me, I was good with that. But you're talking about a very unknown quantity coming in at that tackle spot. So having Trevor there as a mentor and as a guy that, Sandley saw how his hard work and stuff paid off. So when Trevor gives him that advice, it's real. and not only is it real, but Stanley saw it, so it's even more real. So it's tremendous, and Mendelssohn's doing a great job for us from a mentality standpoint, from an attitude standpoint. And he does more than just tutor Stanley. On purpose, a lot of times I'll tell him, okay, you take these guys. So get Trevor away from his comfort level, which is obviously playing left tackle, and move him to other sides. But it really does help Stanley. So does a Van Horn. Van Horn did wonders with Stanley in the summer, where he took him under his wing, and part of that legacy that we talk about, of leaving that kind of stuff behind for those. And hopefully now Stanley, he's just a different player, a different human being. He came here as an introverted, didn't say a lot, was real sheltered, and now he's become very outgoing, and you see it on the field as well.
You talk about the job that Selby's been able to do. I've watched him over the last 8 days really transform right before our own very eyes.
Yeah.
And one play I saw him today, it was get the snap away, and then he was pulling with Swede coming around on a run, which Davis breaks free for a big run.
Right.
This offensive line looks like a well-oiled machine of almost mid-season form, and here we are 8 days into camp.
Yeah, that speaks a lot to them and their work that they put in the summer. It speaks volumes to our strength and conditioning coach. It speaks volumes to him. And so Scott and his staff did a great job with those guys. And it's you got a guy like Mendel, like Van Horn. You got a guy like Selby. You got a guy like Sweet Johansson. Those guys are like coaches. They really are. And they're great leaders in that they don't really care about friends. What they want is they're going to make sure that everybody does the right thing. And so they tell the kids what they need to hear, not what they want to hear. And so that helps tremendously. And, really our goal is we want to be a more physical, nastier offensive line this year than we were at any point last year. We were a pretty darn good offensive line, but I still think that we have a lot of ceiling. And you know what? We've challenged them, and they've really stepped up to the challenge.